Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Oh,
Hello.
slow it down. We're doing 2 tonight.
We're doing 2. I'm so tired. I had a headache, but then get this. I had a McDonald's hamburger. I don't know what your
And that
fast
saved you?
food- Yeah, I don't know what your fast food of choice is when you have kind of a headache.
That's not what I go to when I have a headache.
Right, do you usually go to aspirin or something?
No, I wash my hair. Usually it's because I haven't showered. I get headaches from not washing my hair. But
interesting.
they happen on days I've washed my hair. I have to wash my hair at least once a day for sure, but sometimes twice a day.
Oh, really?
And then from not having coffee. Those are the 2 things I can immediately cure a headache with.
You just have a cup of coffee or you wash your hair?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I, weirdly enough, recently, I don't get headaches. Thank you. I'll knock on my brain box. But sometimes bread.
Bread.
You remember bread.
Yes,
Occasional times you have bread.
Yes, from 20 minutes ago.
We've both traveled today. We arrived at Burbank Airport.
Almost at the same time.
Yeah. I landed at 1:30.
I think I
landed at
landed
1:20.
Yeah, at 1:25, and I was at baggage claim, and you're like, I'm in the bathroom on the A terminal, and I'm like, see you later.
We're seeing at 10 o'clock at night.
Let's not blow any conversation.
Exactly.
But it's weird in our text group. It seemed like every female comic was flying home today, and we all had airplane stories and airport stories.
Right. I didn't really. I had a guy sitting in the middle seat who I tried to give him if someone's in the middle seat, I like to give him the armrest. Because it's a drag to have the middle seat.
Yeah.
But he took more than the middle. He started leaning into me, and I'm like squished against the window, and I'm like,
no.
fine, our shoulders will touch, sir.
You gave him what he wanted.
Which is a little physical contact, clearly.
Was that on Delta?
No, Southwest to Boise, and I got made fun of a lot. I was at the Treefort Music Festival, which has a comedy stage that Emma Arnold runs.
Nice.
And, by the way she booked this, I didn't know anybody. I had met some of them before.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anybody.
Right.
And they were all great, and it was the diversity and the interestingness of the different comics was fantastic. It really was. The other headliner was a guy named Yedoye Travis.
I don't think I know him.
He is genuinely hilarious and really wonderful. He looks a lot like Donald Glover, and he is from Atlanta, and he gets he's a New York comic now, but he started in Atlanta, and so he's very handsome. He's a young man, and but he was saying that people are like, oh, childish Gambino, and he's like, nope. But he has a podcast that I did. Would you ever do this podcast? Because it was terrifying.
No.
Okay. And you want to do this podcast.
Yeah, please.
But it's called The Dark Tank, like Shark Tank, where a panel of black comedians, or people of color, and in this case, one musician, because it was a music festival, sit on the stage, and then one white comedian after another come on stage and give their solution to racism.
Wow.
Intense.
Yeah.
And so Caitlin Weirhauser, she got up first, and she had notes. And I was like, you have notes? And Marcus Coleman was one of the panelists, and he's like, you're going to try to solve racism without notes, Keisha? And I was like, I thought we were riffing. Are we not riffing about the solution?
Honestly, you brought the Patrice O'Neill ethic to the podcast, and they weren't having any of it. They wanted notes from you.
Well, these are my reparations that I've given to the black community and to this podcast is about 5 minutes of my material for my as yet unfinished new hour.
I think that should satisfy just about everybody.
It is comparable to 40 Acres and a Mule in current, possibly exchange rate. But it was really fun, and it was hilarious.
That sounds fun. I also flew Southwest, and I was middles on both my flights today.
Middles?
I'm boarding Group C. You have no fucking choice.
Right. You don't do, they raised the price on early bird. Did you see that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, early bird used to be $15 a leg, and now it's $25.
It's whatever. So I had an 8 a.m. flight this morning.
Okay.
So up at 6, right?
Yeah.
But I had a late show. Went to bed at 1. So
Right. I went to bed at 2,
Yeah.
which was dumb.
that's the space I'm in right now.
Right. Which
I'm
is,
very
did you get a
exhausted.
nap in at all?
No.
No nap.
Because my mom took off last week, right?
Yeah.
And so I texted her. She's supposed to come home today, and I said, "Hey, I'm off work this next week coming up, and I didn't get any road work, so I'm here." And I said, I just want to be in the house alone.
Oh, for another week?
Yeah, and she agreed to stay at my sister's for another week. She's not coming home till Friday.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I have plans. I'm going to. I don't know if this is a bad idea. It's probably a bad idea.
It could not. Why would it be a bad idea?
Okay, so I thought, what if I did like a little newscast once a week, like summing up like a President Hillary Clinton newscast for like 3
from
minutes.
your Twitter.
Yeah, just like
Just
compile
sort of-
the tweets. It's kind of like keeping up with the corruption, but in just a different way.
Could you please call it Keeping Up with the Corruption?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Hey, there's an idea. Keeping Up with the Corruption is
Yeah.
great. Write that down.
I got it in my head. I got it in the old noggin, Jackie.
Really? You're going to keep it right there in the vault, right there in the hat?
Yes.
What if it falls out? What if it gets lost somewhere among the ribbon candy and the doilies?
Is that doilies? Is
like-
that depressing though? I mean, here's the thing: are people gonna want to watch? Trump
what's
is
it gonna
so
be,
depressing.
45 seconds?
Yeah, maybe it could be less than a minute.
I mean, if it's less than a minute, of course people will watch.
Yes. So
I mean-
so I just have to get like a bare bones setup where I have like some kind of screen behind me and lights and that kind of a
Will
thing.
you read essentially your favorite tweets of the week?
I would
kind of thing?
I would form them into one. I wouldn't just read a tweet. I'd just kind of rewrite it so it felt more like a newscast, just covering the news of President Hillary Clinton that
In
week.
your copious free time, you just do a little bit of a rewrite, get a green screen and a crew. Okay.
No, I don't need a crew. My thing is, I don't need a crew.
No, you won't need a crew. But
Right? I just get it set up and I just push play and, it's just one take. It's not editing. But then it would look, and then I'm like, is it going to just look shitty? And what's the point of doing it if it looks shitty?
Yeah.
But I can't do a whole production. I can't. I have no time.
Right.
And it's, yeah.
I get it.
So it would have to be just really amateurish in a way, looks wise. And that would just have to be okay.
Right. And I know that some people had some feedback as far as where, like someone who could edit and do sort of the background graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
Which could jazz it up.
Yeah.
You put a little makeup on.
Oh,
brush your hair
I'll
out.
put some makeup on. I
You
will
put some
do that.
makeup on? Will you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. You bring it up a notch and then just sit in front of it and then read the copy and then be done. And then if you did 4 at a time.
Well, I'd want to keep up, like,
Current?
Yeah, maybe it would take, once I got into the groove, it maybe would take an hour, right?
Well, I mean, it might take less and then you send it to somebody, right?
No, I just put it on YouTube.
Okay. Well, because I've never done it. I would think that there would be a little more production editing to it.
Well,
Just
if I
putting
do
it
one
together.
take,
Yeah.
right? You know what? I have no fucking idea. Unless yeah.
You could
whatever.
look into it because the thing
Yeah.
is it would be fun. It'd be fun to actually.
Yeah, and it would, and it's something I could do once I got into the habit of it. I
Yeah.
could probably just do it once a week, and so I anyway this week. That's one thing I want to do is like, buy the stuff I need, and then I figure, okay, if I don't want to do it, then my kid will, can have
He'll
a
have a
YouTube
green screen and
he'll be
stuff.
happy. But so I'd like to try that, and then I also want to go to yoga every day because I'm like all achy, and I just feel like maybe this will really, if I can just do it for like a whole week straight, it'll really stretch me out.
I finished my Rolfing series.
Oh, and
We're engaged. No. He is, but the thing is, I've already sent him one other new client.
Yeah.
But I warned the client because she's probably 10 years older than we are, this woman I know. And and she has like literally psoas problems where there's that tendon that goes from like your rib cage down to the top of your femur, like through your hip and stuff, but through the stomach area, and she's a runner and stuff, and so she just needs it to be, she twisted it somehow, so it's physical therapy. And I was like, do you mind that because he does good body work, but he's just chatty as all hell? And she's like, I don't care, I'll talk to him. And and so she's gonna go to him.
So what do you feel like he did for you?
He literally, my posture's better.
Yeah.
And I'm less sore. And like my knee and my left hip were janky because of how I broke my foot one time.
Okay.
And so he's really fixed that. I would like.
What did he do? Did he move things around?
Yeah, rolfing is this process where they elongate underneath your skin. There's this stuff called fascia.
I use a fascia blaster like a half hour a day. Right. I fucking know about fascia.
Well, and I went to him with that when he was asking me about comedy for the 30th time.
I bet he didn't like that.
He didn't, because you were like, why don't you just say, well, is this like the fascia blaster? And
so what did he say?
He literally, I said, it'd be like comparing what comedy to you and a fascia blaster or something like that. And he goes, and it stumped him. He was quiet for a full-on almost 10 seconds. And then he said, I spend a fair amount of my time correcting the problems that the fascia blasters create. They don't do that. And I was like, no, I know. Yeah, isn't it annoying?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me. What do you mean?
Well, because what he's doing is he is slowly by hand elongating your fascia so that your bones can reset.
Right.
The fascia blaster, you're trying to get rid of cellulite or something, right? Aren't you trying to get rid of something?
I mean, sometimes it gets rid of cellulite or it makes it lesser, but it's also, it does the same thing. You kind of rub this thing up and down on heated skin.
And what is it supposed to do? Is it supposed to realign?
It's supposed to break the adhesions up where it gets all bunched up.
Yeah.
They liken it to having a knot and the fascia blaster in your hair, and the fascia blaster slowly combs it out.
Right, except for that he does it manually, and it's sort of it's a process. It's a 2-hour essentially massage.
Right.
But I'm thinking about getting it done again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just because,
how many sessions did you do?
Well, it's 10 sessions because the rolfer will work on different parts of your body.
Okay.
The first session, it's all it's upper sternum kind of thing, and to open up your lungs.
Okay.
And then the sides of your body are done together, and then your feet and the low. And someone massaging your feet for just an hour, like super slow, deep tissue, kind of essentially.
Oh my God.
It is. And every session had a head and neck session. So I would leave.
Wow.
Unfortunately, having discussed politics and Louis C.K. But other than that,
I couldn't
stop.
It's not relaxing.
It wasn't, but it's not necessarily. It's more physical therapy but here's the point of this whole thing is that he suggested Pilates for the physical therapy access of it. He said he didn't consider it great exercise for ongoing exercise.
Yeah.
But for physical therapy, getting the strength back to all your body working together as a unit, he thought it was excellent. And I've never done it. So
I've done Pilates. I liked it.
With a machine or and a person?
A person. And she sort of just guided me on things. Yeah, it was good.
And it was, I don't know. This is essentially, so it was good? Was it a workout or was it a physical therapy session, did you feel like?
It was, they're little tiny movements, and it was challenging. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a,
like
it was
sweating
that. No, it wasn't
cardio.
That. It wasn't a lot of cardio. No.
Right.
But I mean, it was good. I felt it.
Okay.
I felt it. It was good. I think it was a little expensive, and then I just went back to swimming, and I was happier swimming.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, we should probably tell people that Kyle isn't here right now because
or we've just lost
decided
him.
To silence him.
Yeah, he doesn't think we're funny anymore.
Right. Well, because we're going to do 2 tonight because
God.
I have to go to Europe for 3 weeks,
right.
and I still don't have a plane ticket.
What?
And I know.
Are you supposed to buy it or they?
The Department of Defense is buying it, and
I'm sure they'll do right by you.
Oh, I'm going to be in steerage. I'm going to be like in the Titanic in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you see that cruise ship?
I love that cruise ship. I said I would take that gig.
You would take that gig.
Knowing that was going to happen, I would still work that cruise ship.
Well, I liked your comment where the only person who was innocent in that whole thing
Is the comedian.
was the comedian. I was like,
I think-
bit of a one note with Laurie Kilmartin. It's never the comics' fault.
What Tim Dillon was like, I don't, every fucking asshole, it's their own fault for being on this thing. And I said, no, not the cruise comedian. He or she is an innocent victim trying to make a living.
They're just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I did. I ended up doing a live Dork Forest, and then I did 2 shows. Yeah. I did a long set in Boise at the Comedy Club. So I show up at the Comedy Club.
What's the comedy club?
It's called the Liquid Comedy Club.
Oh,
in
yeah,
Boise.
but it's not at the old Funny Bone place, right?
I don't know. I've
Okay.
never been to Boise before. I've been to other parts
You
of
liked it,
Idaho.
right?
It was great.
It's awesome.
It's on the cusp of being too expensive to live there. It's
Get a condo now, man.
Buy now, buy land.
I'm telling you to do it.
With what? My looks? What's happening?
No.
What,
You guys have money saved up. Get a condo. Fucking rent it out. You got a rental property.
Why don't what you call
Emma Arnold can manage. She's got plenty of free time. She has 9 kids.
I got to meet her.
She could be your super.
Tell Felicia Michaels. She loves rental property. So
it's a good thing to do. I know a couple women who have invested their money, a couple comedians and writers,
right?
And they
that's their
have
retirement
backup
plan.
income. It's good. So you're not like completely horrendously dependent. I know a friend of mine who's a writer.
Because there's no union.
Right. She bought a house in Venice with a side house, a little tiny guest house.
Oh, right.
And when it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And that allowed her to buy a couple more things. And she's just a writer, man. She's just a writer from Boston, but she sort of did,
she's
she
not
got up.
Guild? She's just
No, she's a guild writer, but I mean, she got some money and she kind of just, no one tells you that. Most of the any money I have is because I have an apartment in Manhattan.
Right.
Right. I mean, otherwise I'd be fucking freaking out right now. But I'm like, worst case scenario, I can sell that thing.
Right. But
people don't tell comics, and comics don't think like that. We're always like gig to gig, but fucking figure out a way if you can to buy some kind of property someplace. It will save your ass in 25 years.
I'm going to give you a much more practical. I'm going to bring it down a notch.
Okay.
A starter.
Okay.
Let's say you're featuring.
Right.
And
yes,
you're making
I know.
$300 to $500 a week.
Right.
And you have a roommate or two.
Not yet.
And whatever.
Okay. So
But
you're in the not yet phase, but think about it. Just put it in your brain. Think about it.
Right. But what
and
you can
get
do-
to that point one day.
And the thing is like there's Acorn or Robinhood. There's these things that round up and they put every purchase you make with a card.
Right.
It takes like the 14 cents left over. Like if it's whatever, $8.62, it'll take that 36 cents and stick it in a savings account.
Right.
And then once you have enough money, it'll invest it in stocks or bonds or whatever
cool.
damn thing. So it's a good idea. But what I did, and this again, I had a backup. When I met Andy Ashcraft, he was like, you drive a death rattle of a vehicle. I had an 89 Mazda 323 hatchback. Good 10 minutes of material right there. Anyway, when I got rid of that car...
That's always a stage every comic goes through is their car material.
Right.
Like, you got to talk about your car.
Well, you do what you can. You got to write about what you know.
Then you get a relationship and you drop the car stuff.
Right,
But
and
you
then
start early on, you start with your car chunk.
Okay, 19 stories later. But what I ended up doing, and it was because I had a partner, right? It was because I had Andy as sort of as backup. He
right.
would, and I could take 10% of every paycheck I got.
Yeah.
Cash. I use that like regular cash, but for every check I got, whether it was a $50 check, a $500 check, or a $1,200 check, I would take 10% of that and put it in my savings. And then if I had to take it out of the savings, sometimes it was $5 and sometimes it was $120. Right?
Yeah.
And after 4 years, I had $14,000.
Wow.
And it was because I had a partner. So, I mean, I know that this is impossible for a lot of comics who don't have any money or who aren't in that kind of relationship where someone's got your back.
Right.
But even that acorn thing sounds like a really good idea, you know?
Just think about it. Just
Anything you can do.
Keep it in the back of your mind.
Comics too, just for anybody.
I know, but they never tell women this. It's just not a thing women do. Like buying property by yourself. Yeah, it's like you shouldn't buy anything until you meet the right guy, and then you buy your fairy tale home that Chip and Joanna fucking break down for you, right? No, buy something if you can in a place that's affordable that maybe you'd want to live one day if you ever had to live there, you know, like in 30 or 40 or 50 years, if you can.
Yeah.
And just rent it out, you know? God, I think Greg Warren had some property in Ohio that he...
Oh, I think all the Gregs are doing good. All the Greg Hahn, Greg Warren.
There's a bunch of Ohio comics that bought duplex. Like, I was like, what? It was out of my range of thinking.
You know, another great
comic would buy a duplex.
To get rental property if you can.
Yeah.
Because we go to every little town, and you can tell what town is about to blow the fuck up.
Yes.
And Boise's one of them. Another one, Toledo.
What? Okay. No,
Toledo. If you've never been, Toledo's adorable. And it's on the cusp of Google coming in and bringing in a shit ton of... I mean, they need these small towns.
Yeah.
And that's the next... And Toledo is behind Boise. Boise looks like... Because Boise's probably at like 120,000 people.
Yeah.
And one of my Lyft guys there was saying that he'd read an article, very powerful article, no doubt, that said that it was going to blow up to over 1 million in the next 10 years.
What the fuck?
In
Can they
Boise.
sustain that?
Well, the whole town is about 3 stories tall.
I know.
We all need to build up, and we need to learn from Hong Kong and start creating some people kennels.
I wonder if that's going to flip Idaho blue.
I don't know, but so here's a comedic thing I want to talk about.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Did I have one more property thing I wanted to say?
What more financial advice from Lisa Martin, please?
Well, again, this is hardly affordable, but HUD in New York City, you know, they put out like a list of like affordable middle class buildings
Housing
and stuff
urban
like
development? Okay.
It's not.
It's no longer called HUD.
No.
Right?
It's whatever New York City's HUD is. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but you can find out. And they list they're always building stuff and then putting up, you know, studios and 1-bedrooms that are cheap for New York. They're not really cheap. But I mean, there's also, you know, you can do that in other towns where they're trying to build low or middle income housing, and you might be able to buy a place, you know. Again, it's a lot of comics. If you're like me, it's just, you know, if you're female, you're like, I got to wait till I find a man.
Do you know who's leading the way in some of this stuff too? Is I've known several is black women comics who have had real corporate jobs and then decided to do stand-up.
Oh.
And so bought condos and then ended up having, you know, sort of a nest egg.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's something different between the comfort of being a white woman and being told that that Chip and whoever are going to help you.
Yeah, right.
House.
And your fairy tale is just around the corner if you find the right guy.
And then being a black woman, and you're like, oh, well, I'm probably going to have to take care of myself.
I have to do it myself.
Other people around me.
Yeah.
So there's, I don't know, do you... And these 2 women.
Yeah. They are homeowners?
Yes.
Oh.
And I believe, may have sold them and then put them into like nest eggs and 401ks and whatever and stuff like that. But it's so hard in stand-up to think about something bigger
so impossible.
than the next gig.
And you're always like, well, it can't happen unless I win the comedy lottery, which whatever that would be, you know,
or the actual lottery.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you're not going to win the comedy lottery.
Yep.
You're not going to get a sitcom. You're not going to get those things, and it'll be like a slow. It's just like a slow build. Like me, I never won the comedy lottery the way, you know, I wanted to be America's sweetheart on the cover of TV Guide.
Did you want to be America's sweetheart?
Yes, I did.
Well, I see that. With your attitude, why wouldn't you have been? Why wouldn't you have been America's sweetheart?
But I went around it a different way, you know, and so a lot of comedy careers are going to turn these twists that you didn't expect, you know?
Yeah.
And and just be thinking like that.
You get what you get in show business, and the main thing that you get out of show business is the ability to do it. And and the thing is everyone will tell you that, and the more successful they are, the more they'll tell you, well, do you like doing it? Well, keep doing it. Don't you like doing it? Oh, well, you should probably find something else to do, because you're not going to get. It's not cash and prizes. It might just be work.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy the work, you should be relatively happy. That's why, we both know comics who are super bitter. They get to our age and either our level or above or below.
I think that we saw them on Twitter today.
Oh my God, those three guys that we're talking about. Oh. And you kept screenshotting it.
Oh
and
my God, I couldn't
believe
it. I couldn't believe it.
I was like, those guys are such
the
bananas.
fucking
They're
Bernie
so...
Russiagate was I can't even
hat wearing.
Yeah,
just
so left they're right. Left they're right.
Yeah,
right.
they've just they're environmental libertarians, and they're pretending. And I had one of the younger comics or newer guy.
Yeah,
remember that guy who drove us from Brooklyn to Manhattan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's he had the greatest, because I was bitching about those guys cryptically on Twitter, Facebook.
But every descriptive, you kept getting angrier and angrier, and then your tweets got more and more descriptive. And I'm like, you're about to say their names, Jack.
Well,
you better calm down.
They're all blocked, so it can't possibly. It's never gonna matter. But John Mingus, who's this guy who drove us to New Jersey.
Right.
He lived in New Jersey and drove us from the Brooklyn gig to
QED. Yeah.
QED
to your hotel.
Queens to my hotel. Yeah.
Yes, right. Where we taped our bonus episode
of Max Fun.
Yeah, that if you are a Max Fun subscriber, you can listen to.
By the way, why don't we at this time throw to a Max Fun spot?
Okay.
Where people should listen to this show.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Let's hear it.
This is our pledge break. I'm going to do the first one while Jackie nods off.
I pledge allegiance to the Max Fun.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I want to walk, but I'm in my own house.
You'd have to kick me out.
So I'm going to read,
please,
some bullet points for you. Listen, the Max Fun Drive happens once a year, and thankfully we joined Max Fun right before it happened.
That's it.
So we got to immediately do a
because
pledge
it
drive.
turns out Max Fun might be an actual business that knows how to do this.
Okay, so anyway, this is the last week.
Right.
And what we're asking for is that you join as a monthly member.
Yep.
At as low as $5 a month or higher. Because we're all working people. We're putting in a lot of our time, and we don't get any money besides this stuff.
Right. And if you can do $5 a month, you get the extra content. Mm-hmm. But at $10 a month, you get like trinkets and stuff.
Right. Well, who doesn't want trinkets in a world where we're trying to get rid of shit?
It's a really cool enamel pin that I kind of want one, but I don't want to donate $10 a month to my own show. I don't want to. And granted, it's not that much. I mean, it's $120.
Very unhelpful note on the pledge drive, Jackie.
How did I ruin it?
The Max Fun Drive ends on March 29th, Friday. So be sure to go to MaximumFun.org/donate. Right now, please, and become a member. Right while I'm talking, please.
Right, because she loves to be interrupted.
I'm so fucking tired right now. The fact that my mouth has to articulate these words, it hurts my soul. And so please do me a favor and just sign up for this fucking thing. It's a monthly thing. Listen, I just signed up for New York Magazine. I just bought a monthly subscription.
The New Yorker
digital.
Or New York Magazine?
New York Magazine, because they just laid off some people. I'm like, oh my God, here we go, more layoffs. And I love nymag.org or com or whatever it is. I go there all the time for premises.
.tv.
And no, not .tv. So and I pay for I get the Miami Herald. I've never been to Miami, but they broke the Epstein story, so I pay $7.99 a month.
A month?
Yes,
$80 a month.
No, $7.99 a month.
Jesus Christ.
But here's my point: is pay for shit, people.
Right.
How are people supposed to live and do this for a living? How are newspapers supposed to continue producing news? How are we supposed to continue producing podcasts?
Are there any other bullet points?
Sorry.
This is my question.
Mention some of your favorite past episodes.
Don't forget to click the Jackie and Laurie Show when you sign up for the thing so that we get credit.
My favorite episode is always the one we just finished because then I'm done with
My
it.
favorite episode is the one we're about to do. You guys.
Comics we've highlighted as Comics of the Week. Listen, our first was Marcella Arguello, and she just came out with a great album called Woke Bully. Marcella is so funny and so brutal on Twitter.
Right.
And she gets such haters, and she just dispenses with them brilliantly.
Right.
She's great.
There's several Comics of the Week that we've picked several times. That we've doubled
By
up on them.
accident.
That's how great they were.
Yeah, talk about the effect this show may have had on listeners. I don't know. It helps put them to sleep while they're driving.
This, you know what it does? Rise up, you guys. Just tell us your tale of doing stand-up comedy and what it's like, because that's what they usually do. They usually email me and tell me how this podcast changed their lives. And it really, I mean, because we give pretty good business advice, and we give
do.
pretty good, like we get into the art of it and the writing of it.
Yeah, sure.
You won't stop with the minutia. So,
well, that was an
totally.
attack.
Did that feel like an attack?
And we want to keep doing it for a long time. No, who wrote that? What? What? Oh my God! This is like reading a ransom note. I'm blinking right now in Morse code. All right, please help. This is bullshit.
Oh my God. It's so great.
We need the support of listeners like you to keep going.
Yeah, if you like the show and you can afford it, please do donate monthly.
Okay, and monthly. Listen, okay.
It supports a lot of different shows at Max Fun.
This is what? Oh well, hold on. I'll tell the story in the next one. MaximumFun.org/donate.
And we're back.
Yeah, we are.
So, but I will say this, is that he said that there's something called environmental racism, defined, of course, most famously by Flint, Michigan.
Right,
Where
yes.
if you consider yourself to be this huge lefty environmentalist and you don't address, he said, if you're not addressing environmental racism, you're of no use.
Right.
You are completely just pointless and
Right.
not using your powers for good.
Right.
So it was revealing. I sometimes the dialogue on the internet can be such a learning experience for me,
Yes,
'cause
yeah, me too.
You're like, oh shit, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting over here in my little gravy boat. But
Well, did you read? Okay, have you watched Shrill yet?
no,
It's really good.
I read it.
It's good.
Had Lindy West on the dork for us.
Oh, cool. What was her? What did you guys talk about?
Can't remember because it was probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
Her and her fella. They were
Oh,
both
okay,
on.
yeah. So apparently, and like I was just fascinated reading this this thread. Ogioma. Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. She's her brother's married to Lindy West.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so she talked about how there's the pool party scene in Shrill, where they're all sort of like, you know, big ladies, but they're feeling fine, and
Yeah, they're just at the pool.
yeah, and it was sort of
Hanging out.
a revelation to the Annie character of like, wow, you know, you can just be in your body, you don't have to be ashamed or self-conscious and stuff. And so apparently somebody else had given a TED talk about that, and the person who gave the TED talk accused the Shrill writing staff of stealing her idea, which was like, apparently, you know, like that for, you know, no. And that episode apparently was like finalized before this lady gave her TED. Like there's a timeline you could follow,
Oh,
but the
wow.
person's like, I still feel, you know, and
I still feel like my idea.
Yeah,
that,
but even though we can prove
that
this thing was-
larger women
Yeah.
are marginalized was mine.
yeah.
Excellent.
And so the writer of that episode is black, and then some people were saying, "Oh, well, she's probably just doing what the white executives are telling her to do." And then it was like, "Wait a minute!" So now, not only you're taking away the fact that she wrote an episode of network television,
Yeah.
by diminishing her contribution,
Right, thinking that she lifted it from somewhere.
yeah, and she's being called a plagiarist. So it was a very interesting conversation to
And she's
observe.
just getting like she couldn't have done anything by herself because it all came from above.
Right,
Wow. What a fucking nightmare. That is a terrible,
So anyway,
terrible thing.
that happened online.
That yeah, that's less positive. A thing that happened online like that. Let's do comic of the week.
Yes.
As well. And I just worked with her at the Treefort Music Festival. She did. It was showcase, and then I closed with 30. Right. So at the Boise Club.
Sweet. When you can close with 30, that is sweet.
It was, yes, it's easy to appear genius. Like it was wonderful. Her name's Sofiya Alexandra.
Yay.
And
she's great.
She is great. She was really funny. And there was a bunch of really funny women. And maybe one of the next episodes we'll do another one from that scene.
Yeah.
She's here in Los Angeles, Sofiya, and Sofiya is spelled Sofiya, Alexandra.
I think
And
she's
her
Russian.
Twitter-
Is she
yeah,
Russian?
She is Russian. She is Ukrainian. Ukrainian, sorry.
Right. My ex
And-
was Ukrainian.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's at the Sofiya, TheSofiya.
Cool.
And
Yeah, she's really funny.
she's really funny and really smart. It was a delight to. And we all went out for a brunch. I did a
Cool.
comedy brunch in Boise.
Yeah.
And one of the local comics who had just moved there from Vermont. We were going to go to one.
Wait,
diner.
from Vermont to Boise?
Yeah.
That's an almost.
It's a real lateral move, right?
It's almost exact. You're just replacing everything in your house with the same thing.
right. It's almost slightly more white. It's a
More
weird-
white, less snow, a
Right.
little less snow, right?
Right. But Beth suggested she doesn't know. We don't know. We all show up. It turns out this place is a huge right-wing racist owned by some banana head on Facebook who's just a giant piece of shit.
Oh.
And we all bought burritos and biscuits
And they sell
gravy.
burritos?
That's it. I know. That's right. They don't get burritos.
You don't get to sell burritos if you're against Mexican
burritos.
people.
That's it. So we didn't know, but there was like a dozen of us, and then Emma showed up, and she was like, "Why are we here?" And and so we were there because we didn't know.
Now listen, did you tip well?
It was one of those you get in line and then you get a number.
Okay.
So nobody tips. Well, you tip what you tip at the
I'm just curious, like if you were at what you found out was a right wing restaurant, would you tip
with
your
table service?
Yeah.
During the
right? Like, would you assume your server was also in
Also
the KKK, or were
a
they
nightmare?
just working because they needed a job?
I would probably tip well, but never return. I would probably tip what I tipped.
Tip and leave a note. The reason I can afford to tip you is because of Barack Obama and the Affordable Care Act.
Well, Nonye and Idoye, yes, were there with a couple other comics after we had finished, and we kind of broke up. And then I ran into them later, and they said, we just stopped eating our food and realized that we had just donated $10, but we weren't going to finish our food. And they just left. And so, but we didn't find out. I didn't find out until I was doing Idoye's podcast.
Oh, okay.
That it was terrible. But it was yeah.
I went to Patty's Egg Nest
In
for
Seattle.
breakfast, and it was delicious.
In
The
Seattle,
toast was
Washington?
like an inch and a half thick,
Oh, wow.
as I like it. And I had bacon yesterday, and I had it this morning. As I said,
Congratulations.
bacon is my road treat.
Yeah.
I don't have it here, but I do have it on the road,
Okay.
and I enjoy it.
Did you have good sets? Were they good shows?
Yeah, they were fun shows. It was there were 4 shows, 8 and 10, Friday and
Saturday over Seattle
at Laughs.
at Laughs.
Yeah,
That's it.
And I flew in on Friday afternoon, and we didn't have to work on Friday, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't feel any guilt, or I didn't have to ask to leave early.
Right.
So
You could just do it.
yeah, at a noon flight. And I realized I hadn't done 45 since January 4th or
Oh,
5th.
really?
Yeah, like when I was at Zanies.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, fuck. So I sat down and I read everything. Like, I read all my act, and I
Okay.
went over it, and I listened to a set.
Good.
And so I felt good about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I did all my homework. And the shows were fun. It's like you get it, like, and again, I wish I was able to do more road work in a way, I mean, I don't want my life to change so much that I
Right.
I can't.
But
have to do
the
tons
long
of
sets.
But it's and you just get to be like in this zone, when you're on stage. You're sort of, you and the audience are like this unit that's moving together.
Right, because they get to know you.
Yes.
You don't have to, like in a 7 to 12 minute set, you've got to produce, Mm-hmm. The weirdest thing is, I did 2 sets. I did the 8 o'clock show on Friday and the 10 o'clock show on Saturday. Yudoya and I swapped. So he did the 10:15 on Friday and the 8 o'clock on Saturday. And, first of all, I show up at the Boise Comedy Club, and this guy, Matt, comes up to me, the manager of the club, one of the managers, and he goes, I used to work at the Comedy Store in San Diego. 25 years ago, you did a one-nighter in San Diego.
At the Comedy Store?
At a gay bar.
Okay.
And I just, all the blood drained out of my face.
Did you remember the gig?
I remembered the gig, barely, but here's why I remembered the gig. It's because for the first time, I didn't have that face thing, because I recognized him 25 years older.
If you fuck us up in our youth, we will recognize you.
I tried to steal a bottle of vodka out of their liquor room.
What?
Yeah. I was like,
oh.
And I said,
it's that Jackie.
It was that Jackie 25
oh my God.
years ago. And I said, Matt, I believe that I tried to steal a bottle of... He said, wait, was that you? And I said, yeah, that was me. But... and I clearly, I'm better now. I'm so sorry. And he said, all I remember is that you were really funny. And I was like, yeah, the only thing I remember was that you caught me trying to steal that bottle. Because I tried to buy it first, and they wouldn't sell me it because... Guess what? Bars can't sell you a bottle, like a quart of vodka out of their storeroom. It's not one of the things.
Okay, I'm going to say of all the crimes committed by comedians in the late 80s, early 90s, trying to steal a bottle of vodka is really pretty unmemorable and low on the list.
Right, but of all the things, and he was so funny because he's like, I would love it if you worked this club. And I said, well, I would love to work this club. This would be great.
Let's make it happen. It seems like a marriage made in heaven.
And then I saw Ben Glebe is on the poster. Mm-hmm. And so I just, I pinged him and I was like, hey, who's the booker? And he's like, oh, his agent did it, but we had a really nice talk about bumping up the pay of features and trying to, give back a little bit and making sure the fair pay thing, because there's just it's just hard. You have to talk to the other headliners who've been there if it's a new club.
Yeah. And
hopefully everybody's willing to be pretty transparent because there's no union, right?
Yeah.
And, you try to keep it as civil as possible. And, of course, aware, like who's got better credits and why someone might get paid more than you or less than you.
Yeah.
It's just good to know what the possibilities are.
The people in front of me at Seattle were, it was like 5 local openers each doing 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that the same with you too?
That was the same with me, except that I brought Andy Erickson, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Because she needed to work on her 30.
Oh, that's right.
But they were all doing their Montreal auditions.
Oh.
And by Saturday, I had to say to Dave, she needs to work on that 30. And you got to cut him down.
Yeah.
And so he cut him down to 5s, and I was like, "There's other rooms in Seattle that they and
there's funny comics working there too.
There's really funny comics working there. That whole scene. There was a guy named Chris who emceed one of the nights at Tree Fort.
Oh, I think. Oh, okay.
And he was there this weekend. He's a Seattle guy.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his last name.
I had a Chris that was hosting on one of my nights, but I don't think it was obviously Fusion Boise.
Yeah, obviously not Fusion. Yeah, but but that was crazy. And then the second night when I did my set, the mic kept giving me feedback from the stage monitors. No one else could hear it.
Oh,
I was the only one who could hear it.
Right.
And finally, I was like doing it a cappella. And the room is like 180 people. So
wow.
I'm just shouting.
Yeah.
And they're fiddling and diddling and swapping out the mics on the side.
Right.
And then they fixed it. It was fine. But it was so funny because a guy came up to me after that show on last night and said, were you just on Live From Here on NPR?
Oh, neat.
Because I remember the Viking bit. And I realized that what I'm doing, because I'm getting this work, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing I did Live From Here. I'm doing...
Did we talk about that yet?
Luke Burbank.
Oh yeah, in Portland.
In Portland,
Yeah.
in May,
Right.
And then I just did the podcast thing, the Dark Tank, where I used some of my new sort of self-aware material that I'm working on, and so my album's going to come out. You know, when I finally do record a new album, which I was hoping to do in December, people will have heard some of those bits, and I was feeling, I was like, well, so sad, too bad. Now they'll all be on one album.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could do. I mean,
I think the exposure on Live from Here is worth it for sure.
I mean,
You can do older stuff on Luke Burbank's show.
yeah, I'm going
right?
to have to go to the vault anyway, just because I want to get from them my last 2 sets,
Yeah.
so I know what I have done on that show. Because I think the first show I did kind of, the cheerful, happy Jackie jokes, which is what I did on Live from Here. I went so deep into the vault, I did the snowmobile joke from 1995.
Back when we had snow, before climate change.
It's, oh my God, they had so much snow. The reason I did it was because they had so much snow in the Midwest this year. And, but it's an old drinking joke. And I opened with it because it was shot in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And it's actually Maria Bamford's favorite joke of mine. It's just such a weird thing. Not I don't know if
She was in Seattle this weekend too.
right. Her and Aaron Foley.
Yeah.
Aaron Foley opened for her.
Where did they work? Did they work at theater?
Yeah. Yeah, just they did San Francisco at a theater, and then
Yeah.
they went up to Seattle and did a theater.
Oh my God, what a sweet life. What a sweet life.
But the thing is you got to do 4 shows. She loves doing. I mean, we all love.
That's
doing
fine.
4 shows,
I'll do 4 shows.
right.
In one night, I'll do 4 shows.
I know.
I'll do a 6 and 8, a 10 and a midnight.
all 45s.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. I don't book that. I can't do that for you. I can't believe we have 2 of these. What else you got?
Yeah, but okay. So you did Live from Here. Who else was on the show?
Oh, it was
Was Papa
John
there? Tom
Batiste.
Papa?
John Batiste.
The
was
guy from
hosting it.
Colbert?
Yeah.
Oh,
He was hosting it,
cool.
and he was so full of energy and really, not
seems like a
very-
nice guy.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And the band was amazing.
Did he bring the band?
He brought some of his musicians, and then there were these other musicians. Everybody was very, very talented.
Wow.
I don't know that I've ever been around so many people.
I know.
I was like, and I kept saying, I think a little inappropriate. Once or two, I was like, it seems like so much more work to be a musician than to be a comic.
Oh my God! Yeah,
you
got
to
to
work with others.
You have
That's
to work
part
with,
of it.
That you have to, you have to count on they have to be dependable. They can't be addicts or drunks or whatever, or that Jackie back in the day stealing your vodka.
Wait a minute. I don't know if you know about the history of musicians, but they're usually often troubled.
I know that's what makes it so difficult. And then you've got to load equipment. You've got to carry whatever fucking thing you play.
Right.
It's a nightmare.
They got a bunch of wires and instruments and whatnot.
I brought a ton of books, but I didn't sell very many.
No?
No, I sold the most on Friday, and then Saturday I was like, I didn't sell any. I sold 1 on the second show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes it's...
Well, yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I was depressed because they weigh a lot.
They really do.
Part of me is like, let me just sell this batch and then maybe I just won't sell books after my show. Why the fuck did I write it's so, what am I going to, when do you stop promoting a book you wrote?
How many books do you bring? 10 each?
No, I brought a little more Shitty Moms than Dead People Suck doesn't sell as well as Shitty Mom. It's so much easier to sell Shitty Mom.
Sure. But like 10 of each, 10 shitty moms and 5.
Yeah, like 15 and maybe 15 and 10.
Because I would, here's what I would do if I were you.
Right.
Is I would bring, what do you want to make? Do you want to make $200?
I want to make as much as I can.
Right. What I'm saying though is for your sanity.
Right.
Like to balance it out.
Right.
If you sold 10 shitty moms and 5 dead people suck. If you brought 15 books total, you wouldn't be mad that you had to carry them.
No.
And you'd make $300 if you sold all of them.
Right. Well, 150.
Are they, how much are they?
They're 10 to 12 each. When I buy them from the publisher. Yeah.
No. But, no, you're talking about profit. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no. You would bring in $300
Okay.
gross,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Yeah. So bringing in $300 gross, would be enough money that bringing 15 books wouldn't kill you, right?
Right.
So, and you're never, I don't think you're going to, have you ever sold more than 15?
Yeah, I have. I have. It depends how long the week is.
Yeah.
Like at Acme, it's a little bit longer of a week.
Right, Tuesday to Saturday, that's 7 shows.
Yeah.
You can easily, I mean, but for a 4-show weekend,
Yeah.
I'd bring 15 books.
That's a good idea.
And then just walk with $300 cash and be
if you
psyched.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, that'd be like, because I'm going on this army tour, and I obviously am not bringing merch to sell to the troops.
Right.
I have done a couple where people have brought
people
merch,
would. Yeah. Yeah.
and I've had bookers they've had to tell them, you can't. We're
These guys make $19,000 a year.
yeah. Please
you can't.
do not.
You can't
charge
sell them
them.
merch.
You
Yeah.
can't sell the merch.
Yeah.
Just give them stuff or don't give them stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody's gotten on board for sending me games and
That's really
like
cool.
someone who listens to this show is sending me board games that I'm supposed to get any minute, and they're small. They're like small card games. 2 games, one called Guillotine or Guillotine, and one called Mutant Crops, and they're kind of card games, and they're 30-minute games, which will be perfect because it's boring. It's boring to be in the service.
Oh, it's boring. I thought you were going to say it's boring to play board games. And I was
no,
on
you were
board.
gonna agree 100%. It is not. It'll be super fun. And then I got some donations for some PS4 games to
That's
bring,
cool.
which is neat. And yeah,
I decided. I love Gary Goldman's tips. They keep popping up on my Twitter right
he's
when I
only
need them.
71.
No, he's in the 80s.
Is he in the 80s now?
Yes. But one of them was like, just let it, sometimes you just got to, if you're working so hard on something, you just got to let it go and let your subconscious put it all together.
Oh, right. If you're working on a bit and it
Yeah.
doesn't.
And so then I just decided this one thing I've been working on for a while to just sort of unhinge it from the expectations. And also I keep changing it.
Yeah.
But I think it's morphing into something else now I have to be careful because I'm talking about my kid, and I can't necessarily go for the joke I want to go for every time, because if he sees it, he'll be upset, right?
You don't want to turn him into a puddle, but you want to get the laugh.
Yeah.
So
there's some finessing that has to go on, but
Sure.
but I just sort of was like, instead of being like, this is gonna fucking work, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on it. This other bit that I was doing with crowd work, I kind of took the crowd work out of it, and it's now like surprisingly strong. I'm like, where'd you come from?
Oh, that's great.
Joke.
That's great.
Thank you.
Right.
Nice to have you.
So I've been telling this story sort of. I think I started. It was just an opinion I had, and I think it came up here, and then I tweeted something about it, and I ended up talking about it on the Dork Forest because it sort of came up, the live one I just did, with, by the way, Sofiya Alexandra, Sam Talent, and Yudoye.
Oh, cool.
It was a live panel one. Anyway, so but I came up with a punchline in the Dork Forest episode. And then I spent the weekend trying that on stage and having it not work entirely perfect. But close, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just needs work is
Yeah.
what it needs. And but
They always need work.
It's always such a weird thing to find out if I take it out of the live Dork Forest thing so that I can work on it on stage, or just
You can work on it on stage.
I can work on it on stage, and I can leave it in the show. It's not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's because it's a treat for those who have listened to that show. Good for you. Live it up. So,
How much time?
well,
have you?
we're at 48.
Okay, all right.
That's not bad.
For
I'm really warm.
show.
So-
You want me to turn the heat down?
Well, you know that we got some complaints, and when I say some complaints, one person
Yeah.
complained about the squeaking of these cables.
Listen.
We're sorry if it isn't what's that thing that sometimes people watch on YouTube that's soothing?
Oh, the AMSR videos?
Yeah. I take it the squeaking of these cables is not an ASMR moment.
No.
When it is not the soothing thing that people need. So
No.
we're sorry if the cables are squeaking, but neither of us are wearing headphones. So we don't know what's squeaking, and
I don't know how that related to me turning down the heat. You
because
acted
you
like
walked away with a microphone in your hand.
Oh, I
so
see.
I don't know if your
Oh,
cord
you
was squeaking
I see.
during it. So,
All right.
are you going up this week?
Yeah, I have. Okay, well, I'm off this week, and my mom's not here, and this is our first week with my son back in school without our babysitter, our longtime
that's
babysitter.
right.
So I'm sort of gonna spend the whatever time I'm not working on these other little projects I want to try out, kind of getting in the routine of it's like jumping in on a jump rope, like getting in the routine of helping him with his homework and
Right.
math. I mean, oh my God, Jackie, I left that so long ago. Why do I have to learn it again?
You will have to learn it again too, because is he doing algebra? What is he doing?
I don't even know. I'm afraid to look. It's but they do like there's graphs and just shit that bores the fuck out of me.
Well, it isn't for everyone, but he has to learn how to do it so that then he can ignore it himself when he's 50. So tell him that.
So I have a show tomorrow night. Excuse me. Well, tomorrow night from Monday. I have a show on Tuesday night in Venice for Patrick Ney, and then I'm doing Mike Glazer's birthday show at the Improv on Thursday.
Oh, that's
so I have a
nice.
Tuesday and a Thursday, and then a Saturday. I'm doing
I'm headlining
Megan.
Flappers Friday and Saturday. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about it.
Oh my God.
I'm headlining Flappers 4 shows Friday and Saturday, unless they cancel one because they can sell more tickets if somebody more famous can do the Friday 8 o'clock. But they haven't told me that that's happening yet.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so, but I've got Carmen Morales featuring for me one night for 2 shows, and then this kid Vince Caldera.
Oh, he's
You know,
so funny.
he's fun- yeah.
I love Vince Caldera. He's really funny.
I've been watching him since he was 16. He's really
Yes.
good friends with Maria and Scott.
Yeah, I saw him at the Cafe Il Latte or whatever.
Yeah,
in,
Leche.
Leche.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
And he's got a crazy family story,
Right.
and he's
Which will help.
really funny jokes about it. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, the jokes, there's actual jokes there.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not
really
just-
great.
So he's
he's
coming
always
right
got
along.
some weird show in a comic book store or something. You know what? He's
Yeah.
like just doing all that comedy hustle stuff, but at such a young age, you know?
Right, because he started when he was 16.
Yeah.
And so he's probably 21 or 22 now.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I told Josh over at Flappers, I was like, hey, mix it up if you can, you know? And so I think he's booking everyone that usually works the Yoo-Hoo room, is emceeing and doing guest sets and doing all the things.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And it won't just be the same 9 people who work that room, and it'll be good.
Okay.
And hopefully I will be a good sport and not get into any sort of altercations. Altercation.
Oh my God,
That's what
how
people
exciting.
are calling it. That's what hey, look, Kyle showed
guess
up.
what? Kyle's here.
And my mom.
Hi, Mom. Oh my God.
Hello, Mrs. Clark. How are you?
I'm Jack. How are you? I'm Lori. Nice to meet you. Oh my God.
Why
Hilarious.
don't you squeeze up, Lori?
You can take it right there. I'll just take the floor.
It's you're gonna sit
Oh
on the
my
floor?
God.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, it's a rug, Jackie.
Okay.
I don't put my people on the floor.
Well, here's the good news: is we're almost at 55. Why don't we send it to another Max Fun break for a second here?
Okay.
And then come right back.
Okay. Right here. Okay.
Oh.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
But here's my point. Like, okay, you know, these campaigns, we have female candidates, right?
Right.
I donate a little bit of money every month to 4 female candidates.
Right.
Because that helps them budget. That helps them go, all right, I have this money coming in. I can spend this much on ads, etc.
Right.
Do the same thing with Max Fun. That helps them budget. They were able to take us on because they knew ahead of time we can afford to bring these guys on and, you know, let them use our servers and all that kind of stuff and let them use our whatever we use of theirs. and so if you can be a monthly member as opposed to like a one-timer, that's actually better, even though it might be the same amount of money in the end. That was my story.
That was your story. Allow me to tell you what the fuck she's talking about. The Max Fun Drive happens once a year, and this is the last week of it. There's a $5, $10, $20, $35 gifts. There's these different gifts that you get for doing each of those levels, and I was given a piece of paper that told me what they were. And by God, you're going to fucking... Here it is, the $10 membership.
You get a car.
Will be, once again, the enamel pins designed by Megan Lynn Cott.
Cool.
They're pretty great. We're soliciting input from the shows this year because some of you asked, what? Oh,
some people like pins. I mean, they have them all over their vests and things.
Right. It's, this isn't anything. So, but the thing is you guys, this is the Max. You get a different thing for different levels. Which level is the car? It's the one where you give them $25,000.
You actually have to.
You have to actually buy a car.
No, you have to give $35,000 to a car dealership.
That's how it goes.
That's how you get a car.
It's so. But the thing is I had the paperwork for it correct, and now I no longer do. So sad.
Here's the point.
Too bad, Max.
Here's what you do. You go to MaximumFun.org/donate.
Yeah.
And there, if you go through the Jackie and Laurie portal, you will get credited for your donation. And we like credit. We like credit. We like our credits to be correct.
Yep.
And we like. Here's more papers over here. You want to fiddle through more papers, Jackie?
Yes. Could I please fiddle with some more papers? Here it is. Maybe this is something. Monthly membership directly support our show. That's why. It's how we get paid to keep making you guys laugh every week. And we do. We do fucking make you laugh every week. I think we all know
every
that.
Week.
Well, there's that. So at least once a month we make you laugh.
Right.
There you go. So you'll feel awesome every time you listen to our show, knowing you're part of a community and that you're directly helping make this show possible. That second part of that sentence, I don't know if you are a part of the community, but be part of the community.
This community of people we never meet and hope never
this
to.
This show is special. This show is special because Laurie Kilmartin talked me into doing another podcast, and I'm supposed to talk about why I like being part of the Max Fun community.
Oh.
I like being part of anything that has Can I Pet Your Dog? That
sure.
has Amy Mann going on. Has a Jesse Jordan going somewhere. They've got J. Keith Van Stratton, who I've known for 100 years. Go Fact Yourself.
Emily Heller,
that's right. And Baby Geniuses. And what the monthly does is you care enough about the show to commit to giving us a few bucks a month, and you can do $5, you could do $10, you could do, and I'm supposed to know what those are, and I was given paperwork that told me. But I bet you if you go to MaximumFun.org/donate that they will tell you exactly what you get for the different tiers.
Don't tell them what you don't know. Tell them what you do know. They're going to get this show every single week.
Elliot Cation lives sitting next to me on this couch in a garage.
A sense of satisfaction.
And Kyle in the background without a mic. Really the voice of reason sometimes. And then sometimes not the voice of reason.
Two artists and an artist you can't hear.
What
Donate
part of that
now.
don't you want?
And that's 5 minutes.
And gone. And we're back.
Oh man, I actually needed that break, and we didn't get it. It was 4 seconds. I was like, "What else am I going to talk about?" Oh, well, I'll save this for the next one. But
please do. Please save something because I've sadly I think I've done it all. But I have a couple of sets this week that I'm looking forward to because I'm working on. I've got this. I've got that new, and the joke that I figured out, the punchline on the Dork Forest, is actually a new sex joke. Kind of exciting.
Dude, I would love to write a sex joke.
I know. It always means you're in a good mood.
It means you're having sex.
Well, except for that, it's a throwback. It's a past life's pavilion.
I don't even remember. I don't.
Well, here's what happens when a man loves a woman very much.
They buy a house together. So, ladies, don't get a house too soon, or you'll never find love.
or that'll just be some guy that wants to live with you and be sweat equity. So the crazy thing is so I'm working on that, and then I also have this new premise because there was a lot of it was kind of cool. The MC came up to me in Boise this last weekend and said, "So what are your pronouns?" And
What?
I said,
my
okay. Credits?" And he did not mean my credits. He meant my pronouns.
Yeah.
And I was like, she, her. I'm a she, her. And because I'm 53 years old. But some people who are 53 are going they, them, or all, any, or this, that.
As a reader, I find they, them to be very distracting. And it makes me feel like I read the sentence wrong. And I think we need new words. They, them isn't. It's not accurate.
They're doing it.
We're doing the best. We're doing the best we can with the language we have, but we actually need new words instead of they, them.
Okay.
Because it makes someone sound like they've got multiple personalities. That's like a Sybil reference, right?
Well, because of the plurality of it.
Right.
I understand. Yeah, I have what I consider to be a real interesting take on it, and then a punchline.
Oh, man.
Come on.
We're doing material.
It's going to be stand-up comedy. That's what I'm thinking about doing with that very premise right there.
Oh,
good time.
So in other words, stop talking about it, Lori.
Yeah. If you could
You're
not
bumping
riff-
into my jokes.
If you could not riff into my jokes, if you could not bogart my premise, that'd be awesome. Everyone can do whatever they need to do. Obviously, I will try to write what I try to write.
Oh, this Eric Lundquist, do you know him in Seattle? He gave me a great tag. If
did he?
listening, it worked.
Well
He gave
done,
it to me
Eric.
for the second show on Saturday, and I'm like, oh my God, of course.
Oh, that's such a
Doy.
classic.
Yeah, it was like right there.
As soon as somebody says the tag,
Yes,
you're like,
it was like
why
a
didn't I
ripe
think
apple,
of-
a ripe red delicious. He plucked from a tree and said, "Did you not notice this?"
Mrs. Clark, what do you think about the Red Delicious? There you go.
Get out of my garage! Get out of my garage!
Oh my God.
Controversial issue.
It's a controversial issue that has chased us for 2 years. Is that we want Lori to enjoy? She did have bacon this week.
No, I like a Honey Crisp, and Liz Winstead turned me on a Honey Crisp, but a nice
You like a Honey
cold,
Crisp?
crisp Red Delicious with a slab of cheddar cheese on top. Guys,
I know. Well, you're unfortunately you're preaching to people that have already moved on evolutionarily.
how much time have we done?
We are at 57 minutes.
Oh man, it would
I know,
be so
3 more
dramatic
minutes.
to just.
This would be the dramatic moment to get the hell out.
But now we have 3 more minutes to
hey,
kill.
so Chris is no longer going to do the Twitter feed.
Oh my God, that's right. I wrote that down. I wrote Royce.
Royce in peace, Christopher Royce.
Yeah, Chris
Yeah.
Royce did our Twitter for a really long time. The Jackie and Laurie Show Twitter.
As soon as we started the show, he was like, "You guys
On board.
Can I start a Twitter feed?" And I was like, "Well, I certainly don't want to do it. Please do."
Yes. And he did a really great job of summing up whatever we talked about in like 10 different ways. For every show, he would have like at least 3 or 4 tweets that I was like, we did that? I had already forgotten.
You know what happened? Clearly, he was listening to the program.
Yeah, huge mistake. But he can't do it anymore.
No.
And
No,
we
he's
so
elected.
appreciate it's been like 3 years then maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to do it,
Anybody?
throw it open.
What you get is free tickets to my shows.
Yeah.
That's what I
You
do.
could go to my yeah.
I'll put you on the guest list. Come
Sure,
on,
totally.
Stand up comedy. It's a
Yeah.
delight.
Yeah, you just have to listen to the podcast.
Right. If
My
you're already
apologies in advance.
listening- If you're already listening to it, just think. And if you're on Twitter, which will also help.
Yes.
'Cause it's another. And there's not that much, even though you do have to somehow
You have to retweet everything we say that's poignant or
that is stand-up
relevant to comedy. Yeah.
kind of. And I don't know what the job is.
I don't
Chris
know
created
either.
the job himself. You put your own stamp on it.
True.
You do whatever you need to do right there.
Listen, if you've done Tigs for a day, you can do ours for 2 years.
Man, that is the greatest scam in the world. The Tig Notaro feed. Just she has nothing to do with it. We all just hand it off to each other. She gets all the glory.
I don't know
is-
that there's glory with it because everyone knows it's not her.
I don't know that.
Okay.
But her name is out there. And
Yes.
people are essentially just yammering on about how great she is. And get this. She's
great. Yeah, it works.
We agree. Should she be a comic of the week one time? Does she need the plug? Does she need the bump? Now that
I'm
she's
obsessed.
directing?
She lives in a compound, with her twins and her wife, and they've got family nearby. I'm like, how did a comic come up with that life?
Well,
I don't fucking get it.
She wanted it more than we did.
I mean, it's great.
That's what they
I'm
would
always
tell us.
stunned when somebody
When
just
that works.
Yeah, when they have some weird little dream life, like Brian Regan.
Yeah.
He tours in the summertime. He's home with his kids, full time, I guess, in the winter, right?
No, he tours in the winter.
Oh, he does. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he tours like 2 weeks a month, and then but he's the perfect example of what we should talk about next episode.
Yeah, come on back next week.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.